Good morning. It's Vijay here. Welcome to yet another episode of Pre-Market Commentary. Today is 7th of October 2025. Yesterday was a fantastic day for the markets. In as far as the Nifty bulls were concerned, markets opened lower, tentative in the first hour, and then the bulls built on it both in Nifty and Bank Nifty. Though overall the markets were not that great in terms of breadth because the declines outnumbered advances on a day when both Nifty and Bank Nifty did very well. Before we talk about the markets, I would like to start with a very interesting development which has taken place. In fact, it was a long awaited development. Somebody had the courage to go to the Supreme Court and file a petition against the government regarding securities transaction tax. Now, so Supreme Court has taken cognizance of that petition, and then they have issued notices to the government on whether the securities transaction tax is legally tenable. Now, I have been requesting, my colleagues in the financial industry to file a petition, especially from the Association of NSE Members of India and other bodies, against what is patently illegal as far as the STT is concerned. For that, you need to understand a little bit of history of STT. Now, STT was introduced by the Finance Minister Chidambaram in 2004 when he said long-term capital gains will be exempt, and he wanted some revenue. So he said we will plug the loopholes of claiming tax benefits. So we will give you long-term capital gains tax benefit zero, but we will put in a securities transaction tax. That seemed fair because the government wants revenue, and it encourages long-term investment in the capital markets. Now that went on well till 2018 when it came out of nowhere, where long-term capital gains came out of nowhere, where then finance minister Arun Jaitley said that he will put a 10% tax on long-term capital gains. Over a period of time, it has been changed to first 1 lakh is free, and after that, long-term capital gains has to be paid, which is fair if you remove the securities transaction tax. You can't have both taxes on the same transaction because that is, it vitiates good faith, good in law, and also it's bad for business. Now, if you wanted to develop Indian capital market, then either of the two you should have. If you don't have long-term capital gains tax, then okay, you pay securities transaction tax. If you have securities transaction tax, then long-term capital gains tax should be abolished. I think it's very logical, it's legal, it's moral, and all factors. I think the current government, unfortunately, has stuck on to it, and nobody had the courage to go to the Supreme Court. Yesterday, somebody has got the courage. Now, I'm sure a good lawyer will be able to get exemption or at least a big relief as far as securities transaction tax is concerned. In my considered opinion, both legal, moral, and logical, one of them has to go. Now, which one the court has to decide, in my opinion, but we'll see how the things proceed. But this could be a ray of hope for a lot of investors who are unnecessarily being made to pay securities transaction tax, even if they don't make profit. Long-term capital gains tax is only when you make capital gains. Short-term capital gains tax only when you make. But just for transacting, if you're going to pay, it is a big burden. In fact, Zerodha founder has mentioned that they collect more securities transaction tax than brokerage. So this is the norm everywhere where brokers are collecting more securities transaction tax. Now, that's completely unfair. And in the interests of justice, I think we should have one of the two. Obviously, we can't have both being eliminated, but we certainly cannot have both being present. We have struggled this for 7 years, so I think the time has come to end the either of them. Okay, now coming to market yesterday, despite the markets being good, FIs continued to sell, albeit in a very low key manner, 314 crores. DIs bought 5,000 crores, so from 4,700 crores. Net buying by institutions, which made the market steady and go up. So Nifty went up for the third straight day, crossed 25,000, which was supposed to be a big hurdle. It crossed even 25,100. Then financials actually took up the market. So therefore, Bank Nifty did very well. Bank Nifty gained about 500 points. And as I said, breadth is was in favor of bears rather than bulls. Sensex also gained about 583 points. IT was a surprise winner. It was more of a, I would say, a dead cat bounce. I don't think anything will come out of IT results. Results are being announced. I think TCS will be the first to announce results. Wipro also is announcing results. But at the end of the day, I think it's only a dead cat bounce. So Kotak Bank had reported good numbers in the morning. I mentioned that Kotak Bank should do well. Surprisingly, it was very weak in the first few minutes to hours. Then it took off. So that is what finally you can get bargains. People, as an intraday trader, we did very well as a group on my Telegram group. You can check it out because it is so simple to buy into, say, a Kotak Bank or to Nifty or Bank Nifty because a lot of banks had shown good, numbers, the quarterly, not exactly results, but what happened during the quarter. They had given some guidance. Vodafone fell 4% because the Supreme Court hearing has been deferred. We have bought into Vodafone as a short term punt. It's a hero or zero trade. Actually, it's purely logic. If you look at it, Vodafone is looking interesting at 8 rupees 50 paise because the government is very keen that they settle the Vodafone issue. So they have actually accepted time, and both government and Vodafone Council are on the same page. Incidentally, government owns significant amount in Vodafone. So what happened to the US markets? US markets, Nasdaq went to an all-time high. Dow Jones was volatile and closed negative. S&P was flat. But by and large, US markets were good. European markets, France fell down because the new prime minister, the new prime minister who 1 month old resigned. A lot of political uncertainty as far as France was concerned. Then you had the beginnings of a bubble. You can see there was an agreement between OpenAI and AMD, which made the AMD share go up more than 20%, 25% at one point of time. And then gold created a new high. And this morning on futures, it has hit 4,000. 4,000 is just a number. It means nothing because as long as the central bankers are buying, I keep saying this, no price is too high. So there's no point in trying to guess the price. One has to go with the flow. It's difficult to buy at 4,000 levels. That is 100 rupees on the bourses here in India through gold bees. But when the strong guys are buying, we have no choice but to follow them. There's no point in going against them. US dollar strengthened, which means yen weakened because the Japanese index went up with some 5% because of the new prime minister, and sooner or later quantitative easing is going to come to Japan, and that may actually be good for India in some way because Japan, as far as equities are concerned, is the eighth largest investor. If you take in terms of country, really speaking, US is the number one, and after that you've got Japan because the others like Singapore or Luxembourg and all are tax havens. So Japan is there in the top five, I would say. So if Japanese money starts coming in, and it can come and bolster our market. Right now, market is in in a subdued mood. Today you have the what is it? LG opening, when the IPO is opening. Yesterday Tata Sons IPO is on, and today is also Nifty expiry. It looks like we may have a good expiry. Then interesting things on pharma. Pharma, I've been very careful, but some things interesting which are outside the scope of Indian market, like this Eli Lilly, which it doesn't have, which is not listed in India, is planning to invest about $1 billion to build contract manufacturing plants and a quality assurance center. Additionally, Roche, again, which is not listed here, has committed about $1.9 billion over 5 years. So basically, the big guys are coming into India and investing. Actually, Trump is asking them to invest in US, but we have not asked anybody or forced anybody to invest, but they feel India is a better place to invest. So both Eli Lilly and Roche, global leaders in their respective fields, are coming into India big time. So these will help, jobs, all kinds of jobs. So specialized jobs. So that should be good. And PMI on other issues, PMI data, HSBC, S&P Global September Composite PMI's Purchasing Manager Index showed 61, which is lower than August, but anything above 50 is good. So it's not bad. Then political news, which may affect the markets in the next few weeks, is the BR elections. And November 6th and November 11th are the elections, and November 14th is the results. But it may not happen immediately. But Bihar generally has some bearing on the markets, but not big, but still some bearing will be there. I expect between November 1st and November 6th, you will see, or November 1st and November 10th, you will see some rattling in the market. Gift Nifty shows a negative opening, but that is always happening. So one has to be cautious, no doubt, because a lot of money is getting sucked in IPOs. But one can buy on declines. That is what we are doing. We are bullish on the market, cautiously bullish, but we are nevertheless bullish. Whatever you do, I hope it is successful. Thank you for joining.